Let's see here. I have 4 Galils, 2 M14s, 2 German replicas, 1 rare Belgium, and this thing. I have 2 pairs of Adidas, a few pairs of underwear, a 93 Skyline GTR, a 200-foot restraining order, but not a single Krytac. So I'm the perfect person to host a rank countdown for Krytac builds. You should know by now where I'm going with this intro. We're here for just some of the very best builds from all around the world. As you can expect from the title, this whole episode is going to be dominated by M4s. But then again, I've done 2 AK build shows, so now things are fair. From Milsim, CQB, a little bit of Speedsoft here and there, and everything in between from countries you may have never even knew had an airsoft scene going on. This is Scott Holmbeck, and you're watching the Top 5 Krytac Builds, Episode 2. I'm pretty excited for this count, and hopefully you enjoy the show too. But be sure to like this video if you like what you see here today, or just comment down below your judgments of any of the builds you see. But now let's get into this countdown quickly. At number 5, that's packed by 2 builds. That begins with a British player named Dan with an SU-27 flanker inspired CRB. Immediately, I love the paint job. However, the build cost is pretty steep at over $1,800 USD, and none of that went towards internal mods, since the only mod was swapping out the stock barrel for a 6.03 Tightbore. Now, Dan was a part of the Krytac sponsor team named USAirsoft that made the lovely sight on top. But as for the rest of the external parts list, Dan has an Aries Amoeba Pro Beaver tail motor grip, a Big Dragon butterfly charging handle, a PTS BattleComp 1.0 flash hider, a Magpul style RFG grip, A.P.S. Ambidextrous magazine releases, a Night Evolution M600W tactical rail mount LED scout light, a G&G Steel flip-up rear iron sight, and a PTS Syndicate Unity Tactical fusion mounting system. This all makes up the flanker you see before you, and even for a rank 5, I'm already happy. But what if we swap to a more common colored CRB? Would it be a good contender that could rival Dan's setup? Well, coming in from the Netherlands, it's Martijn, who claims that Krytac was the next logical step up from all the other brands they had to struggle with long before. And just like Dan, he saw no need for any internal mods besides a 6.03 Tightbore. Unlike his competitor though, Martijn kept his build cost low at around $550 US, which paid for a T1 optic, a dummy peqbox, flip-up sights, rubberized railcovers, a customized G&G stock, a keymod stubby foregrip, and a coyote paint job with the aim of getting a contrasted two-tone look. This ends off the stats for these 2 contenders, and I'm curious as to what build you enjoyed more. Dan with his SU-27 tribute, or Martijn with his more grounded and budget-friendly kit. Comment down below your thoughts, or let's just continue on to number 4. Now I really like the strange stuff when it comes to airsoft, because you guys get crazy with your reps. And this is just another one of those crazy builds. Presenting Alex with his Krytac pistol. Coming from the state of Texas, this PDW is the Krytac of choice for running, stealth, and close quarters combat at the D14 field in Sanger, Texas. Being the 3rd builder in a row rocking only a Prometheus 6.03 Tightbore for internal modifications, Alex instead focused on the exterior that features an Aries Amoeba pistol grip, an IMI Defense FSG1, an A.P.S. Patriot stock, a micro T1 replica with the killflash, and a replica Magpul RSA sling mount, bringing his total to around $400 US. The IMI FSG is said to work well, especially since Alex here indeed holsters it when he's not using it on the D14 field. Good thing he chose to make a pistol of the PDW, and not something like the Trident LMG. That does make me curious, however, on how a belt-fed pistol would turn out. Alright, now, it's time for number 3, and it's coming from Quebec, Canada. This is Marksman with his LVOA CFG that was originally chosen before any mods were done for the internal quality and for the proper licensing that was implemented into the body. But once again, no internal mods. I have been told that you don't touch Krytac internals, but I still think this is just a little bit odd to see so many builds without any internal mods. Whatever. Marksman's goal with this LVOA was to replicate the real thing as close as possible, so the external parts list is pretty loaded. First, he got rid of the original stock for the crane style. Next, there's the Fortis grip up front, centrally located next to the FMAP QLA5C LED-IR, which is also paired with the red laser. Next is a real surefire M95-2 VTN white IR set and his bungee cord wrap for attachments like flashlight tail switches. Marksman also changed up the pistol grip for a Magpul MIAD, added a recon scope 1.4 through 40x30 for open field, and a Night Evolution T1 with solar power charge for short range. And to finish it up, we have a Troy Industries backup sight, a 5KU Raptor charging handle, Magpul PTS translucent mid caps, and A.P.S. anti-rotation links. And this all makes the bank account cringe at $20 off from $1,200 US. A setup chock full of accessories just for that special look. And you know, it's making me want LVOA myself. And I'd probably get in that special edition wolf gray look. When the submission polls opened for the show, people went nuts. Over 100 builds were turned in, which should really go to show you just how dedicated some of these Krytac owners can get. But if you're interested in some of these Krytac setups, then be sure to head down to the description for the links that I'll have to the Krytac line that some of your favorite distributors have in stock. From there you can see the SPRs, CRBs, PDWs, LMGs, LVOAs, and everything else Krytac. And remember, the AG Vector is coming in March, so keep those pennies saved. Alright, moving along, it's time for the runner-up spot, so let's see what the state of Florida has to offer. Maurice, this is your shot to represent, so let me see what you got. Alright, checking your parts list, I can see that you only added a Magpul Tightbore and a maple leaf bucking inside. However, as far as you're concerned, you say Krytac makes some of the most high quality guns on the market and they do it at a great price. Gee, doesn't that sound like an advertisement? This build goes everywhere you go, including every rough milsim event that you travel to operate at. But if you're doing that, then I'm sure you have a good external parts list going on. For the externals, Maurice wanted a GMP MOTS 12.5 inch keymod rail, generic flip-up sights, a CQB master suppressor, a Surefire M95-2V, a Vism laser light combo, a Strike Industries AFG, GMP railcovers, a Repro Trigicon ACOG, and a VFC QRS stock. Not bad, and for $850 I can dig this build, and I can see why so many people voted this build up when it was submitted in the submission pools. But you know there's one more spot on this list that I have to unleash, so let's get this show done. It's time for number 1. The build-up is always an adventure for these countdowns, and in that build-up you guys get to see some crazy stuff, and you get to judge along with our judges. But as a conclusion, this show's top spot goes to an Oklahoma native named David, or Asian with Hat, for his battle-worn and tested Block 2 build. Being the only OEM gearbox shell that hasn't grenaded on David yet, the stock gearbox is also known for taking over 100,000 rounds on full auto without a failure thanks to the testing from Amped Airsoft. But all stock internals is not David's forte. Inside, a BTC Spectre MOSFET with pre-cocking and max active braking dominates, while SHS 12 twin gears work with a 2-year-old tortured stock motor. Then David's got a ZCI barrel with an R-hop and a modified flat bucking and nub that was made by Fatco Customs. Some crazy stuff going on the inside of the shell, and this just may be one of the first Krytacs to ever use a BTC Spectre MOSFET. On the outside though, the body is topped with a Road Trigicon RMO, a PTS enhanced polymer stock, and bus sights, a GMP D-bell, a Magpul Daniel Defense Wrist 2 rail and 12-inch, a Knights Armament Company broomstick grip, the Rude Tactical Index clips, a replica Surefire M600U with an offset by Element, a paint job by Monarchy Customs, and a stippled stock grip by Misfit 1, bringing this 2-year-old Krytac to around $1,400 in expenditures. And I know this is not David's only Krytac. I'm looking at you, Mr. Limited Edition LMG. But after all this, we're still not done here. There's still one more competitor left for this spot for you, the viewer, to pick from. So let's bring in Denis from Croatia with his original SPR Mark 18 build. Now, Denis bought this SPR as a gun that he wouldn't need to modify thanks to a strong gearbox, range, and fast trigger responses out of the box, but that notion didn't last too long. So why not deck out what you got with some of the very best parts, like 13-1 SHS gears, a handmade CNC machine spur gear, a Gen 2 MOSFET by ASCU for full cycle, greater reliability, and faster trigger responses, a new hop-up arm that was modified for an R-hop nub, a Magpul 6.03 Black Python inner barrel, and all new Lonix compression parts including a red piston, except for the cylinder head, which was left original. This kept Denis's FPS at around 400, but the rest of the $1,400 budget went to the PTS pistol grip, the Bolt Airsoft LMT style stock, the VFC flip-up sights, an EOTech XPS, an FMA PEC 15, an Alien Airsoft Mark 18 DD 9-inch rail, a Knights Armament style vertical grip, a KAC suppressor, a steel G&G magazine catch, PTS mags, a Lonix M110 spring, and a cut down 10.3-inch outer barrel. And with this external look, I'd say that both Denis and David have a lot in common here, and this is where the judges are kind of stumped. David has a Spectre MOSFET, but Denis has a handmade part, although it's just a spur gear. Denis has a cheaper build, but David went all out and got a real Trigicon. Yeah, that's why for this show you get to decide who takes a real top spot. Make sure to comment down below so the builders can see what you have to say about their builds, or just comment of what you thought about today's show. And hey, have you noticed we're about to pass up 40,000 subscribers? I have a bit of a surprise for you all when that number rolls over, so be sure to keep an eye out because you'll want to be one of the first to see what I've got in store. Now, I'd like to thank the guys at Krytac for helping me make this countdown, and the Krytac Donors group on Facebook who helped host one of the 2 submission pools. And we can't forget Beats by Nice for his music that was used throughout this video. All links to the Krytac line, the Krytac Donors group, and Beats by Nice will be in the description so you can get anything you may need. And I'm also going to be including the parts list as long as I have room in the description, which might help a few of you guys. And now with all that read and said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, but I'm starving, so I'm going to go out and grab some Chinese. But until our next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Holmbeck, and I'll be sure to see you all next time.